right, I don't know how this will look because my phone is going mental. It's a proper disco phone. The screen's been knackered for ages and it's way. Anyway, yes, you'll notice that above. That's from the Viz, I think. There's t-shirts that say that on the Viz. Anyway, what this is about is I put adverts out on Facebook, right? There's an email coming about this in a couple of days, actually, which might offend some people. So it might not, so look out for it. It comes out on Saturday anyway, in adverts on Facebook, you're not allowed to say lose weight and you're not allowed to promise anything and all that. And I'm kind of not promising anything anyway. I'm just saying, here's what I do. Do you want it? That's pretty much it. So there's an advert I've got out running at the minute which says discover how fellas are, getting back their youthful exuberance or something like that without eating quinoa. Because I mean, who wants to give up life completely and focus on fitness all the time and all that? It's all about integrating it into your current lifestyle, changing it slightly, giving up some small things or reducing things and building other things into your lifestyle, and then it creates, you then get to be able to fit health and fitness into your lifestyle without having to go to the gym loads and all that sort of stuff. You end up doing what you want, okay? And I'm a 40-year-old bloke, and that's kind of who I try and help, okay? Now, somebody commented on this advert. It's quite funny. It's just a picture of me and Darren in the park working out. A guy, Darren, who comes to BKS, and it's a picture of me and him just during the middle of a session. And this guy commented on it and said, I'll paraphrase here because there was a lot. He basically just said, "I'm 32. I've never been to the gym. I don't work out. I smoke loads and I drink loads and I feel better than I did in my youth." Brilliant. That's fine then. Crack on. However, he's 32, right? I'm not going on about like I've got all the answers to everything in that because I'm 40, because I don't consider that old, because it's not. If you're 50, you won't. If you're 60, you won't. If you're 20, you will. But this is how it goes, right? So this guy's 32. I'm 8 years older than him. That's a quarter of his life. A quarter of his life. So in a quarter of his life's time, if he carries on smoking and drinking, he might still feel better than he did in his youth. But there's a few things that come up there. What did he feel like in his youth that he can base being that he's smoking and drinking loads and all that sort of stuff and doesn't work out and probably sounds a bit like a couch potato? I don't know him. Anyway, if he is, what does that mean his youth was like? And the other thing is, in 8 years' time, if he carries on smoking, what will happen? Will he still feel good? Now, when I was 32, I was still smoking. I tried to give up when I was 30 because I didn't want to. I didn't want to go all droopy, because I read somewhere that if you carry on smoking above 30, you've got more chance of becoming impotent. So I didn't want that. So I thought I'd give up, and it still took me. I decided when I was 30, but it still took me 3 or 4 years to actually stop, because I was still, when I was out in the pub or whatever, I'd still have a couple of tabs outside or whatever. And the other thing is that really hits home to me on this guy's 32 and smoking and which is fine. I'm not that bothered if people smoke, by the way. It's none of my business. It's none of my business. However, if this guy's saying that at 32, that's fine. You can feel great. You can still feel great. It's fine. The thing is, if he's trying to justify the fact that he doesn't work out, he smokes and drinks loads and all that, and he still feels great, it's not bad for you. I think there's enough evidence around to say that it is. And part of that is, I know there's evidence there, because I watched my dad die of lung cancer at 65, which was in 2004. It was January 2004, so it was 13 years ago, on my brother's 33rd birthday, no less. I was 27 at the time, and it still took me 3 years to decide to give up smoking, and it still took me another 3 or 4 years after that, you know, so, because when you're in your 20s, you think you're invincible, right? But I saw it firsthand. I saw it from, you know, he smoked for 40 odd years. He started when he was 5. He gave up when he was 48, but had already got him. I've talked about this before. So he gave up when he was 48, but that was it. He was already done in. He was already done in. And having to watch that was really hard. You know, I remember the first phone call when he said, the doctors found something, a little lump, and then it went from there. He didn't want to acknowledge it at all. He didn't want to know anything about it. He didn't want to know how long he had left. Me and my brother ended up speaking to the doctor, because I wasn't at home at the time. My brother ended up speaking to the doctor and saying, look, it's lung cancer, isn't it? And the doctor was like, well, yeah. And he was like, well, he doesn't know that. The doctor was like, he doesn't want to know. He doesn't want to know. So we knew. And then eventually we asked the doctor how long he had left. And the doctor was like, he's got months, not years. And that was about 3 months before he died. So, you know, it's this stuff, it's real. Okay, so when people comment, like if I put something out, an advert out or something like that, and then people comment on it with stuff like that, it doesn't wind me up and it doesn't annoy me. I'm not annoyed about it. It just concerns me that people actually think that way. You know, can actually think. I don't care. I'm not bothered if people smoke loads and drink. I drink, but still, you know, I drink every weekend, pretty much. Sometimes during the week as well. I'm off down to see Future Islands in Bristol tonight, and I'll probably have a couple of beers there as well. I haven't decided whether I want to yet, because I'm knackered, but I probably will, because it'll be there. When it's there, you usually do, right? So I'm not saying you have to give up smoking, you have to stop drinking, you have to eat really ridiculously healthy all the time. All I'm trying to flag up is the fact that those things aren't that good for you. And if this guy's commenting to try and say it doesn't matter if you do all that sort of stuff, I'm going to argue that it does. Your perception of it can be different. You can think, well, it doesn't matter to me. I'm prepared to die when I'm young and all that. And that's, if that's what you want, that's fine. For me, it was a big thing to see my dad. So he was 25 years older than I am now. So I've got, if that was the way it was going to go with me, I'd have 25 years left. I don't want to have 25 years left. I want to have 60 years left. Right? I want to have another 60 years, which is only 5 years less than he had in his whole entire life. And I don't want to be kept alive for the next 60 years because of medical science. I want to be kept alive because I feel good. I want to get to 80 and still be able to go out walking and all that. There's a guy I see in the park all the time who's 84 or something, and he's out and about all the time. A couple of the guys who come along to BKS have seen him, and he picks up the bells, and he comes over and has a chat, and he picks up the bells and all that. He's very sprightly. I think he forgets a lot, because he says the same things to us every time. He's like, oh, you boys are down. I haven't seen you here before. He sees us all the time, so he forgets about that, which is fine. However, physically, there's nothing wrong with him. And that's what I want to be like. The taekwondo master I had a session with last week, he's 56. And he said he's got kids in his class who are 20 years old who look at him and say, I want to be like you when I'm 56. And he's like, right, well, you need to put the work in. He's not just like that. He's been doing taekwondo for his whole life. He goes over to Korea all the time, and there's these grandmasters over there who are in the 90s, and he's looking at them saying, I want to be like you when I'm older. So there's a 20-year-old kid looking at him and saying, I want that. He's looking at a 90-year-old saying, I want that. You see, it doesn't stop. It carries on. So, just something for you to think about. This, like I say, the whole thing with my dad was a massive thing for me, and it just made me stop and look at my life, and I was like, I drink too much, I smoke too much, I eat shit food. And I was going to the gym when I was 32 as well, which was doing me absolutely nothing whatsoever, because I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And I was still eating crap and drinking loads and smoking loads as well. So it didn't actually do anything. It was like, well, I was going to say it's like putting a plaster on a after you've had your head cut off or something like that. I try and stick it on. I've got a plaster on my finger now because I tried to cut my finger off with a bread knife earlier. But anyway, that's something completely different. Well, so there you go. Have a think about that. And just think how you feel now. And if you're fine with it, you're fine with it. That's cool. It's not a problem. If you're not, and you want to do something about it, and you're not sure what to do, hit me up. There'll be a link below. That's it for today. Talk tomorrow.